Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaser King coming to you with the NBA Finals. How to bet it and concepts, things like that. I've been pretty hot on the NBA. When you can't tell what to do, you look at the over and unders a little bit. You got to look at the matchups. My breakout, at this point I don't know who I would take. I'd have to see a few games. My hunch is Golden State's got heart. They came back to beat Oklahoma State, who beat San Antonio. So we can say Oklahoma State's a very good team. They got Durant, they got Westbrook, they got Ibaka, they got Adams. I mean, they're pretty loaded. And for them to beat them down 3-1, you kind of got to look at it going, they beat them. I think they have more talent than Cleveland. You got LeBron James, but they're different players. I mean, Durant's a jump shooter, Westbrook's a shooter and a scorer, so they're both kind of small forwards, if you would. They both can shoot a lot. They really don't have an assist man. And you got the big men, and they were trying to come out on Steph Curry and everything, and interfere with the three-point shots. And so now you look at Cleveland and you try to say, well, all right, LeBron, call him Durant, call him Westbrook, whoever you want to call him. And then what? Love is who? He ain't Westbrook and he's not Durant. So if you call LeBron Westbrook, Love isn't Durant. If you call LeBron Durant, there's no way Love's Westbrook. So you got that mismatch there, and then you also got Irving is no Westbrook by even close. So that's where the disparity drops off. You have LeBron, and I hear all this, well, these guys didn't play. Well, I don't rank Kevin Love very highly. I watched him in the Olympics. I thought he stunk. I said, what's he doing on the team? I couldn't believe. It was because 15 other guys got injured. So I just look at it like I don't think Love's very good. He's a three-point shooter. Whippy, he'll disappear. I don't find him adding any value. And he can't play defense. Same thing with Irving. The other guys, I don't see Cleveland much better than they were last year. I mean, yeah, they got their starters back, but they're not Durant, Ibaka, Adams, and Westbrook. They're not as talented as those four. And that's why I like Golden State to win the series, is because Golden State, man, you got to put a knife through their heart. You can't just beat them. I mean, you got to kill them, and you got to, get it. And I don't see Cleveland doing that. Yeah, LeBron, but LeBron, what does LeBron do? He's been passing a lot more to these guys. My issue with Cleveland, they haven't beaten anybody. It's like one of these Wisconsins in college football, or Oklahoma, where they go 12-0, but they haven't played a good team yet. Oklahoma, let's take Oklahoma for an example. Who'd they beat? Baylor without their quarterback, TCU without their quarterback, and Oklahoma State without their quarterback. Before that, they lost to Texas, who stunk. Why was Oklahoma in the championship game instead of Ohio State? This is a mystery to me. Ohio State would beat them 100 times out of 100. So you got to look at it like, who's Cleveland beat? Detroit, terrible. Atlanta, terrible. Toronto, terrible. If they beat Miami, okay, Dwayne Wade, but they couldn't beat Toronto. So my issue is that they didn't really beat a really good team. So you really don't know how good they are. Let's put it that way. Oklahoma, you didn't know how good they were until they played Clemson, because you had nothing to bear it on, because they didn't play the BYU, the Baylor, Texas Christian, or let's just leave it at Baylor and Texas Christian. They didn't play with the starting quarterbacks because they were both injured. So you really don't know how good Oklahoma is. And they got exposed against Clemson. You knew how good Clemson was because they beat Florida State and they beat Notre Dame. Do I know how good Cleveland is? No. So I do know how good Golden State is. And they're good enough to come back from 3-1 to beat Oklahoma State. And that shows me that they got heart and they know how to win, which is all I talk about. They have the coach. They got the offense. Very balanced. Theoretically, you could double team LeBron James, take him out of it, and make love, hit three-pointers to beat you, which is never going to do. You can't take Curry out of it. Curry was injured, and they still won against Portland. So you got Klay Thompson and Curry. Who are you gonna who's gonna guard these guys? And then you got Draymond Green, touchdown MSU, and you got the other guys off the bench. Barbarossa, I don't know if Barbarossa's on the team, but I mean you got 3 or 4 other guys that can score. And a couple of big guys who really aren't that good, but they get rebounds and they can play some defense. I thought Golden State's defense, when they needed it against Oklahoma State, and they needed the stop, all of a sudden Durant starts choking. He can't hit a shot when they need it. When I call it a choke, it's the money time. When you need it, Oklahoma State has a big lead in Game 6. Have a lead in Game 7. Money time. You need Durant. Where is he? Disappears. That's what I mean by choking. Is he a great player? Yeah, but he doesn't know how to win. Is LeBron a great player? Of course, but he doesn't know how to win, really. I mean, he won with Wade. We'll give him that. And I don't think he... We'll see here. If he really knows how to win, he'll win here, but I don't think he does. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's got that killer instinct, the will to win. I don't buy it. I think he just sits there and he's like, say, I make all this money, and where the other players, the Magics and the Birds, and Isaiah Thomas, they had the will to win. They were winners. Kareem, James Worthy, all these guys, back when the game was good, you'd watch them. They were winners. You knew they were going to win. Here, I just don't. I mean, I think Cleveland's being a little overrated because they got there, but they haven't beaten anybody. And all this media making such a big deal. He's been to 6 conference finals. Yeah, but back in the day, Boston won as a team. And here, he changes. He goes Cleveland. He goes to Miami. He goes back to Cleveland. So it's just such a weak Eastern Conference. There's nobody in it. The best player in it's Dwayne Wade besides LeBron. So therefore, yeah, for him to go there, there's no competition. Where Golden State had to be, teams like, they didn't play San Antonio, but San Antonio was there and Oak State was there. And even Portland gave them trouble. They had a bad mismatch. So it's all about mismatches and that. So Game 1 I would watch. I would probably bet a little on Golden State because it tends to be Game 1s tend to go to the home team. I don't know this series if it's 2-3-2 or 2-2-1-1-1. If it's 2-2-1-1-1, you bet the loser back. So whoever loses Game 1, you bet up to win Game 2. You bet the loser back Game 3. You bet the loser back Game 4. Because this should be an even series as far as the teams being even. You're not going to blow out any. I mean, you could get a blowout, but basically they're pretty even. The blowouts happen once it's 3-1. Say Golden State wins the first 2 and wins one of the 2 in Cleveland. They're up 3-1. Cleveland could blow them. Well, it's a bad scenario because the game's at Golden State. Let's say it's game 5 and it's tied 2-2. That's when Golden State blows out Cleveland in Game 5, and then Cleveland blows out Golden State in Game 6 because their backs are against the wall and they're at home. That was why I locked the other 2, and that's what you're looking for. So I see the matchup of Love will get hot at home, Irving will get hot at home, and the role players, as I've stated in my other video, they get hot at home. But they don't, on the road, these players don't do it. Curry, Klay Thompson, even Draymond Green's a little iffy on the road, but basically Curry and Thompson doesn't matter where they play, and they're enough to carry them because it's very hard to defend them, and I don't see how Cleveland, I thought Oklahoma State had the right chemistry to defend them with Ibaka and Adams going out to challenge the three-point shots with their height, but I don't see Cleveland doing that at all. And LeBron can't guard them both, so whoever he doesn't guard, I don't even know if LeBron can really guard either of them because they're much quicker. He can't guard Curry because Curry's too fast for him. LeBron's not a fast guy. He's bulky and he's not quick. He's powerful, but Curry go right by him. Now, he could also back Curry down to the rim and dunk all over him all day, but you wouldn't put Curry on him either. So if LeBron maybe he's on Klay Thompson, but I don't know if he's on Klay Thompson. So who are they going to have guard him? Irving can't guard him. Love can't guard him. Um, so I see that it's going to be. I think it'll be a lot of overs because I don't think they're going to hold Golden State down. Golden State should be in the 110, 120s this series, and Cleveland with LeBron will keep up. So if you get it under, if it's about 210, I'd go over in most games. I think that's a good match. So I think you have two explosive teams. But I think when the pressure's on, Golden State just proved they can handle it. So in a pressure game, I would take Golden State. I just think Curry's back. LeBron's not Magic Johnson. He's not Larry Bird. He's not Isaiah Thomas. I'm sorry. He's not. He's a powerful guy, but I just don't see him. He's not enough to beat two superstars in Klay Thompson and Curry. And then you got the Green, and you got a few other pieces at Golden State who can really shoot. So I just don't see. I think Love and Irving are very. They'll be lucky to break even in the series as far as how many points they score versus how many points they give up. And I just see the two guys, Curry and Thompson, being too much for LeBron. And I don't think LeBron. I mean, yeah, he's the lone score 50 points. You know, Michael Jordan scored 50, 60 points against Larry Bird in Boston. He lost every game. They let him score 50, 60. They didn't let anybody else score. So Jordan pops in 60. Bird passes the ball around. Boston wins by 15. That's what happens. I mean, and Jordan never had enough talent. It was Jordan alone. And by the way, Jordan alone never won anything until he got Pippen and until Isaiah left, Kareem left, Magic left, Bird left. Until then, Jordan never did anything. So, yeah, Jordan won 6, but there was nobody there. Karl Malone, okay, right, he's comparable to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, really. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll argue, Jordan's great. I'm not saying Jordan wasn't a good player. What he could do, he had the killer instinct. But I don't, until he had Pippen and Rodman, he didn't really win a whole lot. He couldn't beat the other players because there was a team of players versus Jordan. And I just think that's what you have here. You have a team in Golden State against LeBron. And don't oversell Love. He's not that good. So I think Golden State wins. Again, it depends on the matchup. 2-3-2, Golden State wins in 6. Because Cleveland will win 2 games at home. And the game, if it's 2-3-2, the game 5, if they're down 3-1, they'll blow them out. And then Golden State will win game 6. If it's 2-2, 1-1-1, Golden State wins in 5 because they'll win 1 in Cleveland. And then they'll win the game 5 at home. So that's how I view it. Betting wise, again, lay the 6 in the first game. And then game 2, bet the loser back. Because if Cleveland loses game 1, they'll be storming in game 2. They might not win it, and they might win it, but let's say they lose it, they're not going to get blown out. Game 3 in Cleveland now, if they're down 2-0, now you bet Cleveland again because Cleveland will give you a bet. They can't go down 3-0. It's all playoff psychology now. Now if the series is even at 1-1 and Golden State wins the first game and Cleveland wins the second, you bet Golden State in game 3 off of a loss. They'll play it really tough because they don't want to lose both games to Cleveland, go down 3-1. Then game 4, depending on who's up 2-1. So now if Golden State wins game 3, now Cleveland in game 4, because they're going back to Golden State, if it's a 2-2, 1-1-1, Cleveland has to win. If it's a 2-3-2, if Golden State wins the first 2, they're looking for 1 win in Cleveland. Maybe they can get 2, but they're looking for 1. So they'll go back home 3-2 and win it in game 6. So that's how you have to look at it. But I just think the team Golden State beats the player LeBron. And I just fail to see Kevin Love being that good. They lost 2 games in Toronto. That's ridiculous. But they didn't play anybody, and it's an unknown. It's Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, Choklahoma as I call them, always in a big game, fade away. So, you have your, LeBron didn't have players like that's bullshit. They're all pros. I don't buy that. As long as LeBron played. If he was the guy out, it's like New England and Tom Brady. As long as Tom Brady's playing and the whole team's injured, they still should win the game because he's Tom Brady. But let's say Edelman and Gronk were out, and you still have Brady, you still bet in New England. But if Brady goes out, now you can have Gronk and Edelman. You don't have a quarterback, so now it's a totally different story. So that's what I'm saying. As long as LeBron played, Cleveland should have won last year. The fact he didn't have these other guys is like Brady not having a couple of receivers. It doesn't matter because Brady's on the field. And one other comment, I said I have a strong teaser for football already based on the spread. There could be injuries that happen in the preseason, but based on what I see now, if Brady plays, I love New England getting 11 at Arizona, because when Brady's the dog, it's dynamite. They win all the time, or they cover getting 11. And I say to play him with Seattle, Miami's laying 8, or Seattle's laying 8 at home. Tannehill will get killed out there. Take Seattle -2. So that's my first strong play. Now somebody said Brady's not playing, and I'm like, well, I heard that last year, and he played a whole year. So if Brady doesn't play, you get off of New England and you play Arizona, because New England without Brady, as I just said, has no chance winning in Arizona. As much of a choker as Carson Palmer is, he'll win that game. He's very good at home in the regular season. So with Brady, it's New England, Seattle. Without Brady, and we're sure, once we get sure, we're not sure yet, once we get that, and it's New England without Brady, we take Arizona with Seattle very strong. And that's my gift of Teaser King giving Week 1 a big game here. Anyway, in this, Golden State should win. The team always beats the individual. It's just what happens in every sport you can imagine. If you don't have just look at any sport you want. Baseball, football, hockey. If you don't have the team, you don't win. Doesn't matter who the star is. All right, everybody. Well, good luck. Enjoy the series. I might watch a little of it. Usually, I kind of watch the fourth quarter. It's hard to watch that much of it. There's so many bad calls and travels, and I don't know. It's so watered down from when I watched it in the glorious 80s that it's just really hard to watch. All right, everybody, good luck, and have a nice summer. And Teaser King's here, www.teaserking.com. Have a nice night.